My next project and my last new project that I listened to is Rich Amiri's War Ready. Now, we debated if we was going to review this on the channel, and I was like, nah, we ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm already putting, look, you already put the net spin on here. I'm like, we ain't got to do Rich Amiri too. And I've only heard like one or two Rich Amiri songs from my Spotify algorithm because I like to listen to some of these YNs rap sometimes. And I went into Rich Amiri's War Ready. I knew nothing about this album. I didn't have any expectations going into it. I'm just like, this is going to be a whole bunch of rage beats, a whole bunch of nothing. I heard the net spin first. And so I'm just like, I heard the net spin. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a
I
preview.
listened to this too, V, so we can talk
net
about
spin?
it. No, I listened to Rich Amiri.
Oh, you did?
That's why you're right there.
Okay, so I guess this could be a bit of a
little
review right here. And so, I listened to the net spin, and I'm like, oh, I got unk ears, because I'm like, this Rich Amiri is not going to be good. I went to the Rich Amiri, and I'm like, I'm pleasantly surprised. No, I'm not saying that means that this is a good album, but I am pleasantly surprised because, and I don't want to be this guy, I got to hold myself accountable. I got on Ian this year for feeling like he was emulating a lot of like trap music from the blog era, sounding a lot like Future and all that. To me, Rich Amiri literally sounds like he is emulating Future. He literally sounds like Future. It's the same cadences as Future from the era of him doing the whole free band gangs, FBG movement. He sounds like this, but over like rage beats that are inspired by blog era trap music that Future was going off of during, like I said, the FBG boom, but during like his pre-Monster era of Future. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Rich Amiri takes a lot of those flows. He uses a lot of that melodies, the way he actually raps himself. It reminds me a lot of Future like that back then. And like I said, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I got on Ian for not coming off original. Rich Amiri, you do not come off original as well. I think the biggest problem with you, while I like this more than anything Ian has put out, because I think his beat selection is a bit better. His beat selection is better. But the thing that's missing is you sound too much like Future, and you don't have the character like a Future does. You don't have like the punch. You don't have like the you just don't have like that it factor that Future does, because Future, he'll do something, he'll say a little wacky bar here and there, and I'm just like, that's Future.
On, yeah,
like, you get what I'm saying? But with Rich Amiri, it's like it sounds like if I were to go to Chat GPT and tell them to create a Future song for me for this era, but still use like Future's flow from like 2013, 2012. And this is what this was spit out right here. To me, this is like a spitting image of what Future was doing, but on modern production, especially the modern trap production of Rage right now. Like I said, I gotta hold myself accountable because Ian is doing a similar thing.
I told you that all these kids are doing this for you.
Yes, but the thing is, I remember you was like, if a black kid, and I wanted to bring this topic up too because I didn't know you listened to it. If a black kid was doing this, no one would care. You're right. It's all about the image. Because no one's talking about Rich Amiri's album. Yeah. No one is talking about this. But I agreed with you then. I said it before. I was like, it's the image that Ian is portraying versus like it's a dichotomy of you have this image of a nerdy white boy with this trap sound right here. You was like, no one would care if a black person was doing this. Literally, a black person's doing it, and no one's talking about it. No one cares. He's not making publications, nothing.
I even went to Twitter just to see. I put them in there into like, you search them and trying to see who's talking about it. Not many people's talking about it. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna check them out. I say, yo, I listen to this net spin. Let me check out somebody else to use for. It's a slow week. So I played
a slow and short week.
Yeah, I played the kid, bro, and I was same thing. I echo a lot of your sentiments, especially production was to me was the standout. The production was the best thing out this project. Him as an artist, as an MC, no character. He was dull, as to me. He didn't have like you said, Future has like wacky bars. He has that character sometimes. Like, oh, that's him. He had like, oh, all I'm wearing all of my influences on my sleeve right now, and I really don't have my own voice. I'm just gonna do what sound good over these productions. Play these. Boom. What else could you say? I'm just gonna be this mediocre, trap rapper or whatever. And I don't know. It just didn't feel him as a rapper didn't feel authentic to me. I don't know. Something about it just didn't feel like
he didn't feel like he was actually
in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It didn't feel like that.
It felt like he was like, I'm phoning this in. Basically,
facts. That's how it felt. But the only thing that carried is it was production. When like I think what goes you have him rapping. What goes for it is you have him rapping and you got some cool production that could make you bob your head, and I can see why kids do it. So like I was working. I'm like, okay, I like this beat right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what he's saying, but I like this beat. So that's pretty much that sums up this project for me. I was like, I don't know. I don't get it with him.
No, it's just one of those things where it's like it's with this whole streaming era and this whole like rage era of hip hop with the kids and the youth. it's more so like, can you hit a lick on this song? Can you hit a TikTok lick?
Yeah.
Once you do that, you start like generating. You start getting the Spotify or the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
You get played along with other stuff. It's not really you're gonna be one of those standout guys like a Ken Carson or like a Destroy Lonely because they're under the Playboy Cardi imprint. It's more so like your song came, and that's how I found out about Rich Amiri. His song came up on one of my Spotify algorithms where it's like I was listening to all these YNs, and he popped up on there, and it was one of his most streamed songs. I'm like, oh, I get it. I'm like, but this dude sounds like Future. And you know, when he got announced on here on the docket, and I was like, I'm like, I didn't know he was coming out with an album. I was like, this is gonna be my first time listening to him. But that song that I heard when I first heard him, it never made me want to go to a project of his.
I actually was gonna check out his other project, Ghetto Fabulous or something like that. I was gonna just listen to it because I was like, all right, well, what else he has? But yeah, this was.
To me, this is carbon copy Future. And I also wanted to make a tweet earlier this weekend. Like, it's just crazy to see like our artists from the blog era, and I guess this is like that old head moment where it's like, dang, like our artists really got babies. You could see that influence. Like, you really changed the game and you really inspire people to where it's like they really want to copy you. To where it's like these kids like it, and we're just like, you gotta go to the original source though. Like, you gotta go to the OG. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? This is the remake right here. The remake not even as good.
It just, I don't know. I don't know, bro.
Hey, nothing new under the sun, B.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, so it was just weird to hear like someone that sounds identical to Future, like crazily like Future. I'm just like, I hate to say it like this, like it's like you had no shame. You sounded just like Future this whole time. I'm like, you didn't try and change it up, use some of the same melodies, like I said. I'm just like, this is crazy right now. The biggest tape I could say is if you guys are young and you're watching this video right here, go to Future. This isn't on streaming. Go to Future Presents FBG the movie. Listen to that mixtape right there. You'll get a lot of like where Rich Amiri comes from. Listen to True Story. Listen to Astronaut Status. That's a lot from what Rich
Was
Amiri
Street
pulls
Calling
from.
after that?
Street Calling was before that.
What before? Yeah.
Yeah, FBG the movie was his last mixtape before.
Yeah, I remember
the whole.
That's the one with the
monster
like
stuff.
light brown cover and all.
And
Yeah,
the stuff in the middle of it.
and have his boy
And it had
some of his crew. on
B-Words
there.
Love Me. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I remember that one. Yeah.
And so, if you really want to see like why I have these sentiments on this album, go check out that project because I was listening to that a bit earlier this year as well, and I got a nostalgic tie to it. It's not the best Future, but you know, Future always has these standout moments and tracks on each of these mixtapes. So yeah, Rich Amiri, like it's like I hate to say it like this because I'm a Future fan and I grew up with Future. This don't move me. This don't wow me. Like, and you are too much of a carbon copy of Future. But like I said, to me, this is better than what Ian put out because this is way better production. This is way more booming production. I think the thing with Rich Amiri is if he would actually sit down, really construct these songs a bit more, have a bit grander of an actual sound,
Bring
with
some
the track,
character to it.
he could make a really good project. Now I'm not saying he's gonna make the greatest, but he could make a really good Rage project where it's like, oh, Rage Hall of Fame projects. You got to put a Rich Amiri project up there. But yeah, overall, this is like a standard trap album. This just falls short for me because I have Future projects.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture.